Hi guys, and welcome back to another Mark Diaries video. Okay guys, as you can probably see, we are finally filming in my room, or now you guys know that it's my room, but I very rarely have filmed in here just because of the fact that it's very barren, and I'm really working on getting more decorations and making my room an expression of myself, because I did just move this past summer, so it's just kind of like a lot to be doing, but I did put up these little vines, and I got hanging plants that are in the other corner of my room, a mirror, just a lot of little things, and I also got this really cute poster. Not really a poster, but it's actually a vintage magazine from like the year 1908, and I got it from this really awesome bookstore, like vintage bookstore in town that I love so much, and the guy who sold it to me was really nice about it because he said it was his like favorite because of like the expressions of the women on it, but I love it. It's very cute and I'm glad I got it. But hopefully we'll have like more little posters hanging up on my walls and maybe more decorations you guys will probably see as my videos progress. Okay, but for today's video, as you guys have probably seen from the caption, we're going to be tackling a topic that's a bit more arbitrary to you and very specific to your comforts and what you guys like to do. But this video is just to serve kind of like a way of me to kind of show you guys how I tackle senioritis or tackle burnout and all the things that really can collude our mental health and really affect our day-to-day. So one of the things that I actually wanted to preface beforehand is that I did film another video before this, and the video that I filmed before this was more focused on a topic that was really super positive and love positivity, spread love and kindness. But I also wanted to be as honest as possible on my channel because I feel like that's kind of like why I want to do this. And as of lately, I've just been feeling like, really feeling the burnout, like, whoa, like the senioritis is hitting. And obviously it's like, when that builds over time without being addressed, it can become this like bigger thing that really shouldn't have been growing in the first place. And for me, I've just been realizing that I haven't been putting the most emphasis on my personal care and my self-care. So I feel like for today's video, I really wanted to share with you guys like the things that I do to get out of slumps and really just how to ease my mind. But for this video, I did make a little fall-esque drink. It is a pumpkin spice hot chocolate, and it's delicious. I might be lying to you because I didn't even drink it yet, but I'm sure it'll be good. So, cheers! It's a good thing I have my water. Okay, anyways, so, I did do a little bit of research before making this video just because, I did want to, be really well informed about self-care. But I feel like ever since I got to high school, I've always been pretty good with self-care and always trying to prioritize caring for myself outside of just academics and school. Because I know for a fact that when you have something like so a part of your life like school, it can become your entirety. And sometimes that makes things that should be important at a lesser importance. And one of those things is taking care of yourself, and obviously this is something that isn't really niche to anybody. Everyone experiences phases of just putting other things before yourself, and I think that it's a really good practice to really understand the top 3 things that you should be taking care of when it comes to yourself. So I've separated it into 3 different categories that I wrote in my little notebook. And the first category is going to be your physical health. So physical health itself looks different on everybody. And just anything that I'm going to be talking about in this video looks different on everybody, but this is what works for me. For physical health, I feel like a lot of that sets a precedent for how you really work in your environment and the things that go on around you. And one of the most important things, of course, is your body, and you always want to be taking care of your body, whether it be in small ways or larger ways that, affect your day to day. But for me, I know that taking little steps, like the first thing that I do whenever I feel like stressed or burnt out is take a really good everything shower. And by everything shower, I mean like everything shower, like not just a bath, but like washing your body, washing your hair, doing hair masks, face masks, shaving, whatever it may be. And really just taking my time in the shower. I feel like taking baths or showers really just takes you in an oasis away from the world for a second. Like, I love the feeling of a hot shower and like the steam and lighting a little lamp or like a little candle and listening to some really calm music and really just taking your time for some TLC for yourself. And obviously there are things that like we take care of differently for everyone's bodies, but for me, I always shampoo my hair first, and I really I really scrub it in there, and I take my time to do these things because I feel like when you put your best physical self forward, everything else kind of just like follows forward. And like whether that be aside from showers, that could also be looking like exercising. Like, I'm not the biggest person on exercise, but as of lately, ever since I got my little bike that I'm really happy about, I've been biking more often, and that also can like come to my sense of exercise and physical health. I'm also really big on taking walks. If you're not a big like exercise or biking person, like taking walks in your neighborhood or the park really just is such a peaceful thing to do. I know that for me, I always listen to like music on my earbuds, and I just kind of walk and observe like the nature, touch grass for a little, and just kind of reconnect with the world around you, and just also time away from your phone. I think that sometimes, like as of like now, like modern times, everyone's kind of just so attached to their electronic devices, and I am no hater on electronic devices, but there are also times where you just need to like put it down and not feel so inclined to reach for it and become glued to it. Because I find that for me personally, that doesn't exactly help my mental state if I continue to like, if I already know that I'm upset and I'm just like continuing to scroll on like Instagram or TikTok or whatever it may be, that can get me even more like feeling unproductive and feeling like I haven't tackled anything. So definitely that. And you can also put like little like using like personal or like focus, do not disturb, things like that also help. And just kind of taking the time to step away from the online world and really reel into the present and what's in front of you. Okay, so a lot of those things are completely different for like depending on what you're experiencing, what's going on, or what you may be facing in like currently. And I feel like another really important aspect of self-care is your mental well-being. And obviously this is something that's very serious and very I keep on saying different for everybody, but it truly is different for everybody. It's very unique, and depending on the situations that you're in or the situations that you're brought into, mental health is something that should obviously always be prioritized, and that comes into taking care of yourself. In my old school, I used to run a club with one of my peers, and it was a club that really focused on mental health and also academic learning, but mainly mental health. And I still think that is something so important to me still, just because of the fact that, like I said earlier, when you're in school, things like school can really become your entirety and become your life. And it's also important to take a break from that and to take a step away from it for a second and really acknowledge the things that are going on inside your own mind. And for me, having something in a school to really go to and just kind of like relieve yourself of all that stress, of that, anxiety and things for academics, like that is so important. And I think that it's definitely something I've been practicing more often. And aiding to your mental health can look like a lot of different things, but I know for me, one of the things that I love to do is take part in my hobbies and really just remember what it feels like to do things that I enjoy aside from, like having to romanticize certain things like school and things that we really kind of like find dread in, but find goodness in for the sake of finding goodness in for our own sanity, if that makes sense. But for me, I love doing my hobbies whenever I want to feel a sense of serotonin or something that'll make me feel better. So for me, that looks like taking trips by myself. I know that lately I've been going to the farmers market, the local one that comes to our town every weekend, and I just love being able to go out and experience like little shopping, but not really shopping, because it's kind of like vegetables and things for the home, so I don't really mind it, but like finding joy in the comfort of yourself is something that I've always been a firm believer in. And when you start to realize how lovely it is to be around yourself, that's when I sort of realized that like the peak of self-love that I had for myself. So that's something that I always definitely try and do. And I actually did recently. I went to the farmers market and I went with my mom and we got like a really good sourdough and some, I think they're like apples and like little gourds. Gourds are like mini pumpkins, but they're so cute. So very fall. I felt very nice at the farmer's market, and just seeing all the people and seeing all the little vendors and all that stuff really brings me joy. And I always like to romanticize like the little things about living where I live now. Like I live in a very suburban town-esque area, and I always try to romanticize like walking in town, like getting coffee or getting a matcha, and just kind of walking, talking with your loved ones, maybe even by yourself, and just kind of romanticizing the little things in my current life that always brings me a lot of serotonin and things like that. And also some of my personal hobbies, which are things like drawing. Lately, I haven't been drawing isn't my most number one hobby, but I've been trying to get into it like more now because I recently bought a set of oil pastels and a little oil pastel sketchbook. So I've been trying to get into that because I love pastels. Like I was really into chalk pastels for a time during COVID, and I remember being really I thought I was pretty good at it and I really enjoyed it. So I've been getting into that more often, and I've been doodling a bit more, which I love. And also being able to read and enjoy literature, whether that be in the form of a book or a movie. I'm definitely a big reader. Like I love reading books, especially that deal with like introspection and self-discovery, or like plot lines that are, aligned to finding and discovering things about humanity. I love those types of books. And those books definitely make me really happy, and they give me a lot of joy reading them. And movies, of course. Like movies, I feel like in general are just like a thing that can really change the mood of somebody, just because it's like taking a break. Same thing for books, but like taking a break from your own life and watching someone else's, whether that be like a cartoon or like a real life movie with actors. And things like that always bring me joy, especially like the nostalgia you get from watching certain movies. Like lately, the most recent movie I watched was Girl vs. Monster, which was like a Disney movie, Disney Channel original movie. And I remember when I was younger, I loved that movie so much because of the plot and the main guy. I remember loving that movie so much, and I watched it because it was definitely very like fall vibes, and getting into fall is also another thing that makes me happy, adjusting to the seasons and really like surrounding myself with things that are reminiscent of my past, but also kind of bring it into my future, and I love doing that. And also baking. Baking is another hobby of mine that I love, and my last video was actually focused on baking, which was honestly very fun. I definitely think I could have filmed it a little better because it was a little chaotic, but I loved it nonetheless because it's definitely something that for me is just so relaxing, like being able to put work into something and then get like a really awesome and delicious end result is really fun. And while baking and cooking are completely different, I feel like I'm more of a baker than a cooker. Although I feel like I do cook. I cook like pretty decently. Like I've been trying to learn like a lot of my cultural dishes just so I don't forget how to do them in the future. But I feel like baking is just one of those things that bring me joy. And lastly, I feel like, well, maybe not lastly, second to last, music. Music is something that I always enjoy participating in. I guess we can participate in music. But for that mental aspect, music is something that's just so, I feel like everyone can kind of connect to in a way. Like I know that whenever I'm feeling super stressed, listening to music really just, and setting the mood for it too. Like when I'm sad, I listen to even like sadder music. And I know that sounds like really weird, but I feel like it allows me to get into my emotions deeper and really kind of like understand what's going on in my head and kind of really into that stuff. But also being able to play music, like I know how to play the guitar and the piano. I'm not the best at piano, but I do like to play guitar often, and I like to sing. I think I have a pretty decent voice. I don't know, but it's something that also brings me just a lot of calm and a lot of tranquility when it comes to just a lot of like the stressors from day to day. All right, and before I continue, I'm gonna take a break because I've been letting this hot cocoa like marinate. It looks kind of weird now, but it's okay. I didn't mention, but it's currently like the sun is setting right now, and I'm trying to beat the sunset because I love natural lighting, but I kind of also have a bunch of my lamps on. And I have my little plushie here that I got from a friend on my birthday, and I love it so much because I like, this is like my little pillow that I use, like a hugging pillow. And another little note is that whenever I have like mental stressors, I also am sure to, this goes into more physical, but I didn't mention it earlier, like getting a good night's sleep, like sleeping early and getting that full like 6 to 8 hours of sleep can really just like totally change like the way that you follow through the rest of the day. Like I know for me as well, like I'm not a big nap taker, but I feel like sometimes naps are really essential because of the fact that like you need that like re-energizing time. And I used to be a hater on naps because I feel like it was a waste of my day, but I've been napping a lot more lately just because of the fact like of how my schedule goes with school. But yeah, so no hate to naps and get your sleep. Also, I am a very fast talker, which I haven't just realized, but I've been trying to pace myself when it comes to making videos. So I hope that you guys understand what I'm saying when I make these videos. But moving on to the last aspect of self-care, which I feel like is one of the most important, but all of them are really important, is your emotional your emotional state. And emotions are something that everything kind of ties in together, like all these three topics. But I feel like in general, emotions are something that are just so difficult to truly fully comprehend. I think that it would be a great like success and a win to say that you can fully understand your emotions, but I can't say that. I think I'm a long way from that, but I have a lot of time. So but some things that have really helped me when it comes to understanding my emotions or really getting in tune with them is starting to journal. And I had talked about this in my earlier videos, but I was gifted a journal by my sister, and beforehand I was like a hater on a journal, only because of the fact that I did not like, I felt like if I verbalized or put my feelings out into the universe, then they're just like set in stone and they're there and I can't change them. But I've really changed my mindset on that stuff. And I think that when you're able to write down how you're feeling, whether it be like literally like incoherent sentences and like something like a stream of consciousness, like I think it's worth writing just because of the fact that, like, when you see it on paper and when you see it, like, written in your face, it's hard to kind of ignore them and to kind of put them aside. And by doing that, for me, it's helped me to kind of really recognize how I truly feel about things and not just putting little things together and assuming that's how I feel. I know that when it comes to, like, stress, and as of lately, that stress has been rooted in, like, college applications and, like, worries for the future. But I was journaling the other day and kind of writing down what was making me so stressed. And I realized that, you know, like, for things that, like, are, like, college applications or things that are really big aspects to your future that are kind of really in your control and can be really difficult to face, you know, at, like, a certain time, I think that if you can think of a solution to something, it's definitely not worth stressing so much over. And almost everything in this life has a solution. I feel like that is something to really think about, but obviously there are different things and certain circumstances that may make us feel like our hands are tied. But in general, I feel like if you can think of something that can ease your mind slightly about the situation, then that slight ease will take you forward in overcoming whatever situation you may be going through. And definitely journaling can come in different forms and, like, different variants. Like, for me, I usually journal, like, on pen and paper, but usually when I'm, like, if I'm out or if I'm at school and I feel like I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to, like, write something down right now, like, I'll just write on my notes app and, like, write something, like, a little sentence about how I feel. And obviously, like, making these videos is also something that helps me with videos, with comprehending things that happen in my life, and I hope that they help you guys too. Like, that's generally one of my, like, biggest wishes, is that you guys, like, actually take something away from my videos. And yeah, I just think that, you know, it's another thing about emotions and feelings is that sometimes they aren't super unique to yourself and that they're a universal experience that everyone has, and that's can be really beautiful and can be really scary at the same time. But it's definitely a comfort to know that someone might have experienced something that you have and they were able to get through it just as you will. And I think that listening to podcasts as well, like my videos, also helps with comprehending your feelings and listening to, like, advice videos. I know that when I was, like, earlier on, like, when I didn't really understand, like, everything about like self-development and, like, the importance of self-care, I would, like, stumble upon videos on YouTube that talked about, like, video essays that talked about, like signs you aren't prioritizing yourself, or, like, how to find the joy in life, and, like, things like that, really. And I think that watching videos like that really enhance, or even reading it, like reading articles and magazine things, like, really enhance your perspective on emotions and life and really how to deal with them. Alright, so since that was kind of like the final aspect of what I define or what I understand as self-care, I think we can end the video here. For my last piece of advice, I stumbled upon a quote recently, and it was just something that struck really deep in terms of, like, how I've been feeling lately, and it's definitely provided me a sense of comfort, and I hope it offers you guys a sense of comfort. And the quote is that you are your home, so you have to take care of yourself. And I know it's really simple and it's, like, really short, and it's not super like whoa, like life-changing, but I think that for me, obviously, like, your body is your temple, and, you know, all these things, whether it be your mind, your heart, and your soul, like, all these things are connected, and you always want to be sure that you're taking care of the self that you've been given. And I, for one, I love the self that I've been given, and I love working on and improving and learning about myself. And yeah. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let me know if you guys want to see, like, any other videos. I'm probably still gonna put out the other video just because I think it's a very cutesy little video. And also, to any other seniors who might be watching this video, just know that it gets better and we're getting through it and we're thriving, and I'm so proud of you. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.